starting in the bottom right-hand side, the blue Zerg player is going to be Solar. Up against the red Protoss in the bottom left-hand side, it is Stats. These two former teammates obviously were initially on Splice together for quite some time. Now Solar is still teamless and Stats on the Afrika Freaks. As we do see a probe already moving his way to the top of the map and looking for an early hatchery block. Stats has been a big fan of the Twilight Council build and not really surprised to see him looking for a hatch block early. Solar sees this, sends the drone across, and he's just going to go straight to the third hatchery location. Send it down at a time where basically it's able to get to this third hatch without much of a mineral delay, right? If you get here to build at 300 minerals and the probe is there, is kind of interesting. Now Solar asks for no skin. I mean, if he hosted with WSS Gamehall like I asked him to, there wouldn't be skins, Solar. So then, yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know why he's asking for no skins. Sometimes I understand that there's it's hard to see certain units as certain skins, but I'm not sure if there's something in particular in this set of skins that he's like, oh no, I don't like that. So yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, we jump into this best of 3. Obviously, round of 8 here of the ESL Open Cup career. Stats been annoying with this probe to the point where a drone even pulls off the mineral line to try and fight it off, which is pretty fun. And just see our probe continue to move around a little bit and just having our nexus on that natural expansion with the Cybercore building. We'll see if it is indeed going to be a Twilight Council build after this block. Or if Stats may change it up. I mean, Stats is one of those players who does sometimes come out with those fun builds. He was the first player I saw doing the Stargate carrier opening into the ground army that we saw a little bit in DreamHack SC2 Masters this weekend. DNS used it against Reno, I believe. So, yeah. As we do have our Nexus about to finish up. We get our tech choice on the way down with the Twilight Council, so... You know it's a Twilight opener. I do know Stats has been loving playing Glaives. Will he play Glaives here, or will he maybe go for the Dark Shrine? Because that's the other option, right? To go Dark Shrine into DTs and kind of play out from there. As we do have this Adept making its way out up to the top right-hand side. So Adept coming across over to the right here and just going to be seeing the Queen of Solar wanting to move down the ramp. Doesn't quite commit just yet. And the Adept is going to be canceling it, Shade. Just done, just like that. He's already happy. Alright, well, 4 drones already on the way up here from Solar. So getting that up and running as the Lings. They're going to move through for that Adept, which is ending up shading away. So Stat's going to pull that back through the center of the map. Dark Shrine already just building up, so that is going to be our choice. So the questions are being answered. As we do have the Lings continuing to the bottom left-hand side. And again, the hatchery finishing up soon on the natural. And these Lings just trying to poke at the front to try and see, hey, you know, what is going on? You know, he doesn't have an Overlord in position. This one in the main base will get through. And we'll look for this scout on the Twilight, on the Dark Shrine. So we'll get there eventually and figure out what is indeed happening. The Stalker will go from the natural to the main base to try and pick away at this Overlord. I think it should die, not before it sees the information though, so it does turn it up. And it's very close to seeing the Twilight and the Dark Shrine, right? So, yeah, a few Adepts moving out here, and it's going to be trying to fake out a little bit, but it's only 3 Adepts, and usually you'd have 4, and I think that's already a pretty good tell. And Solo does go for the Dark Shrine. I can't believe he sees the Twilight. I guess he sees it not upgrading, and doesn't actually make the turn for extra info. He does lose the Overlord and get supply blocked for quite a long time. What a time to be supply blocked. Especially as DTs are going to warp into your main base, and then if you don't have the units to deal with the DTs, that's obviously a big issue in itself. I think he's got enough Lings to hold the DTs off. If this was Glaives, though, I actually think you're in a big amount of trouble from being supply blocked like that. Oh, what? A Spore detects that far? That's crazy. Well, that's nice. Actually gets a DT kill right from the start here. Definitely not the start Stats was looking for. And Solo will pull these Queens back up into the main. The rest of the Lings showing up. DTs wanting to drop back down, and just going to have Stats with these Adepts making their way back along down the bottom left-hand side. So a couple of DTs will join up beneath this prism. And there are 2 more DTs as well, ready to morph into an Archon. He's actually maybe going to lose this first Archon. Oh my god, Stats is falling apart already in this first game. Nothing is going his way. Nice find from Solar and the DTs. It's not a position the DTs can kind of properly block. It's not actually that much surface area lost. And yeah, now you've got 2 DTs that are going to run back in against the Spore, try and do a little bit more as the Lings are out of position. But, I mean, Solar has just killed so much already. This is a sort of territory where Solar could just say, man, you're losing so much, you're really not doing anything. That's 3 DTs lost, essentially, but very little gain. It's definitely kind of, you know, bordering on the point where Solar could just say, cool, I'm just going to make a bunch of units and go across the map and kill you. Now, he is getting a lair, he is getting an Evo Chamber. That doesn't necessarily mean he won't move across the map to kill Stats. He could just do it a little bit further down the line, right? You know, you could do this a little bit further down the line where you say, okay, what I could do is maybe go for a... you know, maybe I could go for like a, you know, road speed and then kind of go from there. But he's not going to do that. He's actually going to start a Spire. And I guess the gas count probably could have told us a little bit more about that as well. Rather than me kind of derp it on about something that wasn't going to happen. So, yeah. Don't forget to check the gas count, guys. So, yeah, just Solar is going to just go for the Spire. He's going to try and go for the Mutas. I mean, similar sort of idea in a way, though, right? You get Mutas up in a world where the Protoss has not had a good start. It's going to be even tougher for them to kind of, you know, delay the Mutas. The Mutas are going to get across the map pretty easily. And then you're actually going to have quite a good ground army behind it as well. So even some of the counter-attacking options against the Mutas are not really going to be as viable as usual. Archon's trying to go for the Overseers. We'll see Creep Tumor gets picked off. So Creep Tumor will go down. The Observer very nearly falling, but just doesn't go down yet. It looks as though the Overseer is distracted over to the bottom side. So Observer actually survives. I mean, just in case we... I mean, if you lose the Observer, is there anything from Stats that isn't going to die this game? Yeah. Finally, Stats getting a stroke of good luck after a bit of a rough starter. As you see, the Prism trying to go in. Has seen the Spire, so he knows what's up. Starts stack defense, gets the Templar Archives down. Obviously, he recalls the Prism right away, too. He's like, oh, Spire, done. Let me make sure I don't lose anything else. Because the last thing he needs is to lose the Prism and the 2 Archons. Because the moment that happens, the moment you really don't have anything across the map to defend kind of the Roachling follow-up to this. And it is, for the moment, 66 drones, but he's getting more as the 4th base finishes. So he's going to go straight into that rich Vespene gas. So he's going to go straight into that without too much of an issue. They're just trying to make their way in. Defended initially, but, you know, that's where the army was. What's in the main base? Well, Stalkers, they do have Blink, so Stats has that on his side. The fact he went for a pretty quick Blink as a follow-up here. Stalkers blink to the side. Meters get pushed away. Single Zergling coming forward, and it's going to make its way to the 3rd, where there's slow Zealots, of course. I mean, no charge. And Solar is maxed out. So, in the end, it is going to be kind of this aggressive push that I was kind of talking about, but it's done in a very different way than how I initially mentioned it, but he's still going to try and hit. And honestly, Storm's not done just yet. Charge isn't done just yet. Now is the timing to just go for this, right? Like, this is absolutely the moment where you say, let's fight. You don't have Storm, you don't have Charge. Your army's way worse than what it should be. Is the Roach Ravager enough? There's obviously going to be Battery Overcharge here to help out. Save this Archon. It was about to die. More Corrosive Bile. Solar backs away for a few moments. Storm is not far from finishing as the Mutas are just trading out with Stalkers over here. Not a huge fan of that, as Stats is defending well for the moment. I think Stats is going to hold this initial wave, and especially these Mutas being turned away with very few of them left. You've got to remember that Solar doesn't have tech behind this, right? So losing the Mutas, this basically resets to just +1 Roach Ravager. Now there's Storms. Now there's going to be very well on the way to +2 attack as well. And now there's Charge, especially important too, to help out with this. A few Roaches are going to try and go to the natural as the main fight happens over on the 3rd base. Oh, that Storm was nice. Actually, Rav just kind of ran into it for a little while there, helping out. Stalker's going to have a bit of trouble with these Roaches, maybe. Try and warp in a few more. Honestly, these Roaches might not have a great time, as the combination with the Mutas are going to make it tricky, but it looks as though... Yeah, it looks as though Stats is going to hold on in the main base. Now the question is he still holding on the 3rd? A new Battery Overcharge is available, and it will just keep that Immortal alive. Big Storm as well. as he does lose one more mortal to Biles, however. Only a couple roaches left in this main base. Last Mutalisk as well. This is going to be a cleanup finally, and now Stats can fully focus on reinforcing that third base location, which he's done such a fantastic job of holding on to for this long. Can he hold on just that little bit longer? There's a few extra shield batteries using the last of their energy. Battery overcharged 30 seconds away from being used again. Archon gets picked off already. The Roach Ravager has to back off just for a moment or two. We don't have many storms ready right away, but they are building the energy to storm in a few moments' time. Solar, can he break this? He did decide to start +2 missiles, so he's got something of a plan to kind of keep improving his army. But it's still just Ling Roach Ravager. You know, we're not moving away from that. High Templars have storms. First one was good. The second one kind of hit where the army had already moved away from. I love the split off, but there's roaches against the mortals. It's not going to work out. Good positioning from Stats. Good movement of his army. I think Stats is continuing to hold. The thing is, Stats is continuing to hold, but I don't see the supplies getting any better for him. And now he has +2 attack. That will help a lot of that Roach Ravager. Takes a big storm to the face. And this time the roaches on this bottom side don't do anything, and that's a big cleanup from Stats. Much more convincing. Now he gets within 40 supply of Solar, and he's been nowhere near there this entire time so far, so that is massive. That's going to be seen as Stalker's actually looping around the back. Okay. Well, Stalker's around the back. High Templar are not here at the moment. He's trying to pin this army in. Now he aggressively blinks forward, gets a Ravager and a Roach off those Stalkers. 17 mutas building from Solar. So he's built up some money. He's going to spend it on mutas. How well prepared are we to deal with mutas right now? Well, I mean, there is a good Stalker count. There are Archons. I like it for Stats, but 70 mutas, you never know if he's just going to fall apart against them, right? And that's going to be the big issue here, I think, more than anything else. Solo keeps everything together. The Stalkers, Immortals, Archons, Sentries. All of these moving around to this right-hand side. Mutas will dive in. Cannon gets picked off. A few of these probes going down as well. So a bunch of probes falling as Ling Roach Ravager comes to the far left-hand side. He's going to go into the natural now, as we do see our Stalker Immortal going to initiate the base trade. So, I mean, obviously this is what Solar is somewhat happy to do. He's got a big muta count. Base trading generally is pretty good. The fact he's already on, on Stats side of the map is nice as well. Usually we talk about the Protoss being on the Zerg side of the map when this starts is nice, but actually Solar getting a bit of a head start and cleaning up some of the Protoss structures is pretty nice also. 6 more meters about to build. This is maybe important to get rid of that Spire before any more meters come out, because this is genuinely, actually before +1 flyer attack, which is 4 seconds away, will go down without it finishing. It's very important because this really will come down to potentially a big army fight. No, it will not. Stats doesn't have any workers. He doesn't have any probes to build anything with. This is actually full-on proper base trade territory. So Stats is going to turn back home to try and fight it. Oh no. Yeah, Stats does not have a single probe on the map. He's got no Nexus. He will be revealed soon. He's got no structures on the map outside of what's in his bases. Solar is a few structure kills away from winning this game. The Prism Pops does nothing. Stalkers blink in. A few of these Lings going down already. Stats is now revealed. Solar across the map has got a 4th base that will start a mine. He's going to start to rebuild some of his structures. There are a few Zealots left across the map to try and do a little bit more, and they are picking off a lot of those drones. Can Stats get up this ramp? Well, he doesn't necessarily need to if he defends the structures on the low ground, but that's a very low amount of structures you're working with here. It's just so hard to move up this ramp, right? But then, obviously, Solar's army is kind of trapped in here as well. Solar just trying to get a pool up, get a few more Zerglings into play. Stats does end up going up the ramp, uses some force fields right away. Stalker's trying to focus on the Mutalisk as the Archons get here as well. A few more Corrosive Files and Mortals in the wrong spot. The Stalkers blink down, which gives the Mutas the chance to focus in the main base on that army there. I just don't think Solar has enough. This army's been wiped out. And Solar honestly doesn't have that much of his own. And Stats, I think, has killed enough that he can actually leave a decent amount of units at home to defend these structures and move out on the map. And that is what he will do. He'll leave a few Stalkers in the Archons, so there's a very low chance of a counterattack with enough movement across the map to go clean up. And I think Stats is going to win this game in a crazy base trade resolution after Solar tried to kill him. After having a really good start of the game, Solar tried to kill Stats off, did not happen, and now kind of paying the price for not being successful in those aggressive attempts to end things. Spawning pool will go down. This Overlord is going to fall as well. I mean, obviously everything's just starting to get cleaned up. A few Zealots still on the map. Even the Zealots here just trade pretty well against the Lings. Eventually they get surrounded, but they don't go down without a fight. And Stats, just clean up this Extractor as well, please. I hate... the one thing that really bothers me, as GG is cold here and Stats will take game one, is when you kind of pick off these, like... is when you kind of base run, you leave an Extractor behind somewhere you weren't. It's like, no, you've got to go back for that at some point. Doesn't matter here. Solo GG's and Stats take down a game. In the bottom left-hand side, we start off with the blue Zerg player, Solar. Up against the red Protoss in the top right-hand side from the Afrika Freaks, it's Stats. Stats Probe will begin to move across the map here, down in the bottom left-hand side and away to see what is going on. And obviously mostly looking to block this hatchery, but Solar comes down early, looking for a 15 hatch. Sees the probe, he realizes he can get there in time, and he will get the hatchery down, no block. And that's obviously an expensive early game probe from Stats then, which will then not really achieve that much. Will come and try and mess up mining in the main base, trying to block some of this double stacking. Drone pulls immediately. It's funny, he actually started to nibble a mineral patch that there wasn't even a worker on. Yeah, just Stats not quite getting the hatch block that he wanted here on Ice and Chrome. We'll see if he still wants to follow up with a Twilight Council. Maybe he'll go Stargate. This is a fairly large map. It's not a bad map for Stargate. I actually quite like Stargate on this map. I know a lot of people are like, Stargate never wins for a Zerg, but I do feel like it can put you in some good positions. I like it. Well, Nexus on the natural, as we do see in the simulator. Onto the main. So that's a couple of gases taken in this main base. We do see some probes. Continue to build up and gonna rally down to that natural soon enough. Solo just goes up to 3 hatcheries, very standard, very nice fast 3 hatchery as well before 2 minutes. So really will delay a little bit of queen production, right? You're not gonna build any Zerglings with this while continuing to build drones, so just 1 queen. Solo very confident there's not much coming his way anytime soon. And Stats will start a currently supply block to depth. And there it is, out of supply block, and will be able to get this going. So depth is going to chrono boost out. Our warp gate is building, and there's our tech choice. It is indeed going to be the Twilight Council. So just going to be going for the Twilight here, and we'll see if he switches it up from the DT drop to the Resonating Glaives. Obviously, I feel like you could actually just approach the Dark Templar opening and just do it better, right? I mean, he lost a DT, he lost an Archon early. It really was a horrendous start to the game for Stats. Absolutely not what he was looking for in the early stages, I'm pretty sure. But again, was able to turn it into a defense. I really feel like Solo really messed up with the attack, and I think the attack fell apart when he lost those mutas on the front. Oh, he's going to go Robo. Well, pretty quick. Yeah, sorry, that obviously makes a lot of sense. I'm just being... My brain doped for a moment. I was like, oh, Robo? Wait, what? Twilight's already done. So it's just going to be a Dark Shrine on the natural. But yeah, there was a moment where Solo was obviously fighting the third, and the mutas went on the natural, and they kind of just traded out with Stalkers, but that's not what mutas are meant to do. The mutas are meant to, like, force the Stalkers to the natural, then go to the main base and force units there, right? And the mutas just weren't really used well enough, I don't think, to really justify their cost, and that's what I think gave Stats enough to be able to hold on in the end. Adepts go down. Obviously, Stats committing in, gets 2 drones. That's actually a pretty good set of information for Solo already, because if Stats is being this aggressive with Adepts, the likelihood of him playing Glaives after this is very low. So from Solo's point of view, he can already start putting pieces of information together. Adepts dying, probably not Glaives. Not seeing a Phoenix or anything to kill my Overlords, probably not a Stargate. So he's probably getting to that point where he's like, well, what could this be? He's like, I see a Warp Prism. Probably not a Glaives. Probably going to be a Dark Shrine. So Solo should be able to start getting Spore Crawlers up in the very near future, as Lings are going to try and break through. Lings do well against these Stalkers and these walls. And there's going to be a single Adept warping behind this. 1, 2, 3. Lings get by, though. Oh, the Lings have broken through. They snuck on by that Adept. How? How, I don't know, but able to get through as the Lings go into the main and going to go for a bit more damage. I mean, the biggest thing here is you just forced a warp in of Adepts, and that means you don't have the warp ins available for DTs right away, maybe? Oh, Warp Prism going to try and siege up on the edge of the main. Solar sees it. The Queens are right here to try and deny it. Hello? What? I mean, that was absolutely denial possibility, right? Like, you could have completely shut down this Prism and just killed it. And then you don't have to worry about this Prism at all. Yeah, that was weird. Like, I feel like he was holding back, waiting for the Prism to start sieging into warp-in mode, and then you dive with all the Queens. And unless Stats responds immediately. But if you see it the second it starts to go into warp-in mode, if you go for it right then, it has to finish its warp-in mode animation, then unwarp-in mode, or go back to transport mode. I actually think the Queens kill it in that time, so I feel like Solar misses an opportunity that I kind of felt like he was setting up for. He will defend, and he will, of course, hold off these DTs without anything being done. Stats even comes all the way home to morph in the DTs, so he's very worried about the very high link count and the ability to catch those Archons on the map like they did last time, which is when he lost one of those Archons, of course. Oh, Forge is going to be building on the natural expansion, just going to be having our blink on the Twilight Council. So setting up for that is, we'll see how Ling's going to run in. Robo is actually in a bit of an exposed spot, actually has a lot of surface area on it. I mean, if the Adept's going back over, drops a force field to help protect it. Lings are still diving for it. Solar believes. Another sentry warped in. That second force field is actually pretty essential. But hey, that Robo is still low. And it is still going to take some extra damage. He's going to lose the Robo. Oh my god. He didn't even get the unit out of it. Whatever it was building was just like paused in production, it felt like. Oh my god, Stats just does not have good openers in this game. I mean, losing a Robo has got to open up huge opportunity for Solar to go across the map, right? Surely. Yeah, I mean, he's making a Dropper-Lord. He's not got Overlord speed, though. What's the Dropper-Lord for? Okay, a Ling drop into the main. Yeah, Stats adds on a bunch of extra gates. He's going to need them. Without any Immortals to back this up, though, it's going to be really tough. Yeah, so 56 drones. I agree. You kill that Robo, you take away one of the key points which builds units which are really good against this attack. It absolutely makes sense to commit to this attack. So here we go across the map. Solo looking to dive. Couple Archons get into the center, picking off a creep tumor. As you have a recall home. So Prism will get home as soon as possible. A few Lings here obviously may be part of that reasoning as we see extra shield batteries starting up. The first Immortal is now on the way. It's nowhere near being ready, and Solar is just going to come and give these sentries a cuddle. How you doing? No force fields that are going to be very effective. Battery overcharge pops, but oh my god, we're going to lose the Robo for a second time. Well, just no Immortals allowed this game, and Solar is going to take game number 2 here. I think this, if you hold this as Stats, I'm so impressed, because it's just ridiculous. You've got no units, really. Yeah, you've got a lot of shield batteries, but if there's no units, you're never getting rid of this army. And he does indeed end up leaving that game as Solar ties us up 1-1. GG's. And going to a third map. Tying it up as our blue Zerg, Solar. Taking on the red Protoss in the bottom right from the Afrika Freaks Stats. Very quickly, as we start the game off, thank you so much, Captain Krabs Doto, for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. We set up here, Gateway on the way down from Stats. He does get over and forces the hatch block, and Solar will just say, cool, I'll take a gold base. So he gets the gold base down early in the game, and yeah, we'll set up over there. There's a few of these drones from Solar building up in the main. And that probe of Stats going to go up the ramp and into the main base to go and set up a little bit himself here, it would seem. Sees the spawn pool, just going to be a little bit annoying. Obviously, the gold base is a very far distance away, so those drones have a bunch of extra time to walk to saturate it. But when you get there, that gold base eco builds up quick. Now, the gold base is forward, so it's a bit more difficult to defend. But if you launch an early game attack, it is going to, you know, have reinforcements, going to come faster from this gold base across the map into Stats as natural. A few things to keep in mind in terms of possibilities already here on Golden Wall. in terms of what Solar could be doing. There's the drones going to move. Obviously, you want to get those gold-based minerals saturated. They are absolutely worthwhile. The other nice thing is then you can actually just continue to rally your new drones just into this mineral patch as well. Because, man, these drones pulling off gas even to try and fight this probe. Solar is really sick of these probes being annoying so far. As our Cybercore will finish up on the natural, and we'll see again stats. His tech choice in a few moments' time. Again, he's gone DTs twice in a row at this point. Do you go Dark Shrine again? I'd be surprised if you do the same thing 3 times, especially because I feel like both games he's actually had a pretty horrendous start with the DTs. It might just be time to crank out the Resonating Glaives. He is just opening with the Adept, Warp Gate. So it's definitely not a Stargate here. It does look to be a Twilight Council. There it is, dropped down. So you got that Twilight Council dropped down. Roach Roaring will build from Solar in the main base as well. I'm just going to be seeing the probe continue to come back over the right-hand side. Adept from stats is just going to sit in the bottom center of the map as well. And just going to be seeing our Robo Facility building in the Warlock. Nexus going to Chrono Boost onto the gateway. So Stalker building up here. Just going to see a couple Overlords still coming out. Wolf Gate coming through. And this one Ling is going to move up into the main base to, again, see what it can get up to. Try and be a little bit annoying as the Adepts unable to do much. There's that Dark Shrine once again. And Solo's already making Lings and Roaches off 21 drones. I mean, is this anything away from what we expected? In this case, I actually kind of like the Dark Shrine, because if you get DTs up against those Roaches, you're obviously in a really, really good spot, because there is not going to be any sort of aggression across the map, right? That can really work out. He cancels the Dark Shrine. Well, when I said aggression across the map, I meant detection across the map for your aggression. I actually kind of like the Dark Shrine. Instead, you cancel it, starts up an Immortal right away. Interesting. Honestly, I really feel like the DTs are good here. Maybe it just feels like they take too long to come out versus a Chrono Boosted Immortal, which is a totally valid kind of complaint. So, here we go. Immortal's about to pop. Sula will go for this just gold-based hatch tech aggression. I like that. Target firing with the Immortal. He's actually going to get rid of the Ravager that's morphing in there as well. I like that. It's a bit tankier, but then you stop the healing from going down. Lings do start to get in, but there's only a couple Lings so far. Shield batteries about to be done here to the side, and probes are going to pull through. The biggest issue might just be the fact that this is a few units up in the main base, and that's obviously frustrating to deal with, but Stola dives by. So that pulls a few probes. Man, I mean, yes, a few probes are going to go down, but you're still up by 10 workers. Solo trying to drone behind this now. Just have some more Lings at the front that are going to break through, potentially. Battery overcharge to keep the gateway alive. And that's obviously one of the things you can do just because you were being annoying in the main. You pull units out of position. Now you should just be able to defend this anyways as stats. Not sure why he stopped the battery overcharge on the gateway without getting it to full shields. And stats just starts Glaive, so he just says, you know what? You've obviously made me cancel my Dark Shrine. Let's make use of this Twilight. Gonna get Glaives, and I'm just gonna go for like an Immortal Adept attack. And off of this sort of opening, it's gonna be tough for you to hold Solar. You know, you committed a lot of units off 21 drones. It's a very low eco game from Solar. Resources lost in the bottom right, 1.3k to 600. So Solar's mined less, lost more. The only saving grace may be the fact that now he's on a gold base. Maybe that income starts to become favorable for him now. And of course, stats is delayed on a Glaives because it wasn't his initial plan. So that just means to me that you maybe get another Immortal out or so before this starts. And he's actually just going to go and harass with these Immortals. Love this. Mining out this area obviously means that you can't just sit here with Immortals and be annoying. And now all the Lings are on the bottom side. What if you just drop the Immortals on the top side? What if you just drop them into the natural? What if you just go anywhere other than where these Lings are? Because now these Lings are horrendously out of position for anything else. Trying to chase down a Roach here. We'll get one already. That's a strong start. We'll go for another. Make that 2. Make this 3 in a moment. Trying to morph in the Ravager will not do enough. And the Immortals just lift up and boom into the natural. A couple of drones available here. And of course, we're not too far from getting this attack across the map. The only thing I would say is that I don't like the fact this one Immortal took so much HP damage. Usually you're meant to just be trading out shields, right? As stats cancelled Glaives and decides just to play a more macro-focused game. He's just going to go into charge and, well, Temple Archives and all the rest. He's going to try and recall his units away here into the main base, but everything dies. Oh no, stats is kind of falling apart. Solo gets aggressive across the map. I mean, there's still these 2 Immortals causing chaos in the natural. Lings running in here again. They get choked up trying to run through to the back. And obviously, Stats will just not get a third base up right now. Kind of lets these Lings in. The force field is very late. Stops more Lings from getting in, I guess. I mean, a lot of units just streaming across the map. Solo is basically on a second wave of this all in. 41 drones and then units, nothing else. So Stats just needs to keep on defending. I mean, this is where Charge is definitely better than Glaives once it's done. Because if Glaives was up here now, Glaives actually isn't that useful. But, you know, you wouldn't have been able to commit to your attack or anything. He still has the Immortals across the map, remember. So he's still missing these from the fight. Max Result 2 warping in. These couple of Ravagers are actually blocking the rest of the Roaches from moving up here. Sentries do have some more force fields available. These few Ravagers on the right side, well, a couple of units trying to fight those. I mean, it's a complete mess of a fight as the Immortals are just going to go for the natural hatchery across the map at the same time. Stats still microing that. As he drops a battery overcharge here, the units realize that they're kind of out of position for it, though, so they try and move back into place. Obviously, those Immortals can't recall as he loses one of them to Broodlings. They can't recall because he recalled the units over here. Oh, does Stats have enough to hold on? Solo feels like he's got enough in the main base as we speak. A couple of extra High Templar warping, and he's going to try and get to an Archon to help out. Remember, he's killed a base of Solo, so Solo's just on 2 bases. One of them's a gold wood mine out fairly quickly. Is already well on the way to mining out even. If you just defend this as Stats, but is there a just defending scenario in this? I don't think there is. Probes continue to drop. I mean, he's basically 1 base, not mining from the main. Immortal in the middle of the map needs to be careful. Just about lifts up, but Immortal in the main will go down as well. And Stats really misread this. He really set up and changed his mind too many times and kind of just wasn't ready at all for this to be more aggression from Sola. He just kind of let Sola get away with kind of changing what he wanted to do and being aggressive again. Stats trying to take a 3rd base, cancelling Glaives into what is then a later charge because he didn't start charge initially. GG, Sola's going to win this out 2-1 in the ZVP.